Hey guys, what is up? It is Reaping Soul here, and hopefully you can't hear my fridge in the background. It's actually right beside me, and I think it's trying to talk to me or something. Hopefully you can't hear it. Anyways, guys, this is going to be the first episode in the Hack to Hack series, and what this is going to be is it's going to be me showing you guys how I found or my methods of getting hacked. Well, no. Never mind, scratch that. Not my methods on getting hacked. My methods of making it back after I was hacked. As you guys know, I was hacked recently, and I managed to get myself from 6 mil to about 150 mil plus within the first 2 weeks of being back. Basically, my first bond that I bought after that. So I'm going to be showing you guys my methods, and then I'm going to be continuing that all the way until I get a party hat. And if you guys want me to keep going, I guess I can do some guides for like 3 bill or whatever. And you guys are probably thinking like, I'm never gonna get 3 bill, it's gonna be useless for me. But if you guys follow along and do some of these methods, you guys should be able to get that amount of cash, or a high amount of cash before too long. So this is what I did. So I started off with 6 mil roughly. Obviously in this video I'm going to be showing you starting from 1 mil, just to kind of make it more open to everyone and show you guys what I've done. So I started off, 1 mil, you can flip, you really can flip at almost any cash stack. I mean, people have started flipping with needles, and I don't recommend that, but I'm going to show you guys what I did with 1 mil. Now, flipping with 1 mil, you can do it, but it's not the most profitable. Obviously, with flipping, the more cash you have, the more money you make. So what I did is I flipped and I PVM'd at the same time. And what I did was Frost Dragons, because Frost Dragons are pretty consistent. There's not that many requirements. The bots are gone. The prices of Frost Dragon Bones are high, and they're pretty easy to do. And because I haven't done EOC, well, combat almost ever, I thought it'd be pretty cool, go try it out. And I actually had some fun with it. So this is the setup that I used for melee. Obviously hadn't done EOC before. Didn't have an offhand rapier. Don't have. This is what I did. Okay, I'll just explain it. So my Helm of Nezi, my Takar Cal, my Glory, Chaotic Rapier, Rune Plate Body, Rune Plate Skirt. Okay, never mind. Didn't know I had that. But typically these are cheaper. So if you guys are looking to save some money, buy yourself a plate skirt. I had an offhand dragon longsword. I had a Regan bracelet and dragon boots. The Regan bracelet can be substituted with anything like barrows gloves or combat bracelet, depending on how much cash you have and how many quests you've done. The ring, I would always suggest a ring of wealth, and I'll tell you why in just a second. For the rune, I actually believe I started out with Torags when I went there, just because I had a little more money, but rune will do just fine. If you guys have a mull, I believe that is better, or another offhand rapier, etc. Amulet of Glory works perfectly fine. You can use a strength amulet if you want, but I would definitely go with the Amulet of Glory. I'm not even sure how strength amulets are on the EOC, so yeah. Tucker Cal is great for melee. You can use a skill cape if you want a little more defense, but I would go with the Tucker Cal personally. Then you have your Helm of Nezi. It's pretty standard. I would use that even if you're going with the Torag method, just because it is pretty good. For auras, you definitely want to be using penance. If you're there meleeing, you almost have to use no prayer pots if you have penance, which is just awesome. It means you spend a little less money, you can AFK a little more, and it's just great. That is, however, assuming that you're using prayer renewals, and when I go there, I always have my overload, my prayer renewal, my super anti-fires, some prayer pots, depending on if I have penance or not, but I always bring a few. Super anti-fires are a must if you're going dual wielding, or if you're using a two-handed weapon, basically if you don't have a shield on. So you definitely want to be using this. If you can, I would definitely go two-handed weapon or dual wielding, because it is a lot faster than using an anti-dragon fire shield. But if you can't, then I guess you just work with what you got. Adrenaline potion, I like to bring one of these because my my inventory isn't typically filled up anyways, and it allows me to start off the trip a little faster, and if I use an ultimate ability, just get my adrenaline up a little faster. You can substitute this for extremes or supers if you don't have them. Just basically work with the best you've got. You'll be making all the money back and more, so you really want to be focusing on your kills per hour. I would suggest a yak, obviously, if you have one with your winter storage scrolls. If you don't have one, then use another beast of burden, such as, a bull ant, a terror bird, war tortoise, etc. But a yak is great if you have it because you can bank your bones and all your items. You can also use range there, and I tried them both. I actually liked range because I didn't have to run around, but my range level is a little bit higher than my combat stats. I'm about low to mid 90 combat stats, and I'm at 99 range, so I don't know, it's kind of personal preference, but this is the setup that I used for range. Just royal, the offhands, here I'll show you right here. So I still use the Nezi, I had my Ava's accumulator, still had the glory, still using the wealth, and I'll talk about that in a second. Chaotic crossbow, again I didn't have the offhands, I had my royal, snakeskin boots, and I used royal bolts, and this actually worked pretty well. If you guys want a full frost dragon guide, I probably won't be making one because I'm going to focus on this series, and there's tons of other frost dragon guides out there, but this is just the methods that I used. Just grab some quick cheap gear and go and start making some money right away. So for auras, I would again use penance. If you don't have that and you have greater sharpshooter, then I would definitely recommend that. Or you can kind of switch through them both, so when one is on its cooldown, you can go and use the other. So now for the ring, I would definitely recommend a wealth because of obviously the rare drop table drops, but also I was banking here at the Grand Exchange, checking my flips, and then going back and do another frost dragon trip. So I was actually getting the best of both worlds. I was doing some flipping while I was at the frosts, so I could make some more money and maximize my cash. So as you can see, I'll press check this right now. Actually, I'm gonna have to get my boots, my glory, and this. I'm just gonna show you how much this costs, roughly. So obviously this can be substituted. You don't have to get a Regan. You can get barrows gloves or a combat bracelet, even rune boots if you need to, etc. But it's only about 250k, and then range, if you guys really want to know. Actually I need my glory. I'll be getting that back in a second. But it really is quite cheap, so I would recommend doing either of these methods unless you have anything which you can do better, which obviously do the best you can. So this is bait. Oh wait, did I grab it all? Sorry about that. No, I didn't. Forgot one thing. And then I'll get a couple bolts and I'll just show you how much they are, because royal bolts are very cheap, which are great, especially if you're ranging. So here you go. So as you can see, only about 60k. Oh, yeah, so about 60k for the range setup, and then bolts you're gonna have to be paying for, but 82 GP each. They are pretty cheap. You can get a full K for 80k. Oh, and then the glory. Okay, so 70k. Sorry. And for the rapier, obviously you're gonna have to charge it every 10 hours, which is a cost of 2 mil, I believe. From obviously degraded to nothing. We're not degraded to nothing, but 0 charges to 100 charges, so that's 200k an hour. You're going to be making far more than that at Frost, but if you're just worried about the costs of the royal bolts, I'm pretty sure it is actually cheaper to use royal bolts compared to the rapier, but it just depends. You want to maximize your kills per hour. So anyways, guys, that was the method that I'm doing on top of flipping. Now I'm going to show you guys a couple items and a couple things you can do within your Grand Exchange to make money. Obviously, Frost Dragons isn't the only method. You can do so many other methods. I chose PVM because it's typically pretty good for money making, and I'm definitely not a skiller. But if you can go do some rocktails or some, I think it's crystal trees and elder trees, and that works for you, then that's great. You can also do herblore here, cleaning herbs and stuff, and you're right at the Grand Exchange, so you can flip a lot more frequently, which helps out a lot. It just depends on your account and what you like doing, and also how much time you have and how attentive, if that's, pretty sure that's a word, how much attention you want to be paying attention to the game. That sounded a little weird, but anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys what you can do in your Grand Exchange. Okay, so I'm going to be starting off with items that are quite cheap and have quite a high buy limit, and this is going to be for people who are normally at the Grand Exchange. You don't really want to be doing these kind of items if you're away at Frost for half an hour, but you still can, but it's just not ideal. So things like lots of skilling items I found work quite well. So things like raw rocktails, or if you want to go cheaper than that, you can even go monkfish. Um, if you want to stay away from food or things other than food items, sorry, it's been a while since I've done a commentary. If you want to stay away from food items or just want some other things, lots of grimy herbs work quite well, especially because they're also cheap now. So even things like irits or irits, I don't know how you guys pronounce them, but you can do a lot of them for quite cheap, and you can actually get some pretty good profit margins off them. And these all have really high buy limits, which is great. You can even do things like royal bolts, ganodermic flakes, all very cheap items with high buy limits, which is great if you're doing, fast flips, low amount of profit, but you're doing a lot of them at the same time, so it's okay. And the offers do usually come through quite quickly. Now I'm going to be moving into items which have a slightly lower buy limit, but also they're priced higher, so it kind of does even out, and also a greater profit margin. So things like amulets of glory, they're 11k each, so you might only want to be doing 10 or 20 at a time. And this is what I find is ideal about 10 or 20, because if you do anything more than that, like you might think, oh, I'm really rich now, I can do 100 at a time because I've got like 1.2 mil or whatever. I would definitely not suggest doing this, because what I've found, flipping things like Furies, which are the exact same, but you need more money and it's got, more profit potential, is you only really get 10 to 20 offers in before you get overcut or undercut, or the profit margin changes, etc., etc. So if you do 10 or 20, and then after those you buy and sell them, then you can recheck the margin just to make sure that you're maximizing your profit and you're not getting over or undercut, so you get your items in and out of the Grand Exchange as fast as possible. And also by doing this, going from spending 1.2 mil on 110 to maybe only 20, that now costs you a mil less. And then what you can do with that other mil is utilize your other 5 GE spaces so that you can maximize your profit potential with your 6 GE spots. Other items such as the Ring of Wealth, exact same concept as the Amulet of Glory, still a very good item. I've done them a lot in the past. There are a bunch of other items like this, so kind of the still a pretty high buy limit, but definitely not compared to the skilling items. And one item that I have never tried, but I'm actually I kind of want to, because I'm sure they could be quite good, or actually seeds, because they have a buy limit of, I believe, 100 as well, and some of them can be priced quite high. So as you can see, 60k each. You guys might want to stay away from those for a little while. I'm sure you could flip something like 10, but obviously you want to be utilizing all of your Grand Exchange kind of slots, so you might not want to be doing these. But things like Ranar seeds, where you go, there you are. Oh, those are 9k, so maybe not that cheap, but maybe a seed that's maybe 2k or something. They also have a buy limit of 100, so that could kind of work the same as an Amulet of Glory or something along those lines. So next we're going to be talking about one of my personal favorite items, and I actually kind of rediscovered this item while I was buying gear for Frost Dragons. Are Torag's plate body and plate legs, and Barrows gear in general, but more specifically Torag, because that's what worked the best for me. Actually, out of all the Barrows gear, I only flipped the Torag's plate body and plate legs, and I believe some Arams a couple times, but I stuck with these because if you find something that works for you and it works well, then might as well just stick with it until you stumble upon something better. So what I did is I actually bought these overnight for about, I think the plate body was 211k each, and then I would come back and sell them over their max at about 330k. So as you can see, if you were flipping 10, I had 2 mil, then you're gonna be finding yourself with over a mil profit the next day, which is pretty awesome, assuming they all buy, but they almost always did for me, which was great. And even during the day when I just wanted to regular flip them, they still had a profit margin of about 30k, which is actually quite good, because if you can flip these, I believe the Torag's plate legs are even cheaper. Let me just find them, and yeah, so they're about 20k cheaper. And then you also have the Torag helm, which is about 100 and something, 160k. So obviously these items are still quite cheap, assuming that you have a 1 mil cash stack, something around there. And I think I did these Tuareg legs all the way till I had 10 or 20 mil. Like, they were just great. And then finally, you have items that you're going to be doing overnight, like the Tuareg, but these you do mainly overnight, so moving into items that you'd only do 1 or 2 of that have a higher profit margin and profit potential are actually the revenant items, so things like Vesta, I did, and also a lot of Stadius. Stadius was probably my main one that I did, specifically the Stadius plate legs, plate body, and the helm, both corrupt and non-corrupt. And I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are like, no one uses these items anymore. They don't sell. If you buy them like way under. I don't even know how to find the profit margin. Profit margins on these things, like they're useless. I'm pretty sure the Vesta plate body is as good as like a mithril plate body or something outrageous. I don't know. But people do buy them and people do sell them, which is awesome. So what I found is that on average, at least for Vesta and Stadius, is that the market price, or the, I guess, Grand Exchange buy and sell price that I was using was roughly 50% of what it said in the Grand Exchange. So for example, Corrupt Stadius plate legs overnight, I would probably buy these for about 855k, and then I'd probably sell them, I believe I sold these for about 885 or 1 mil and 85k, something like that. So that's over 200k profit on one item. Obviously this one might be a little expensive for some of you, but if you do things like corrupt, oh, there's tons of corrupt items. I was looking specifically for, there you go, corrupt Stadius full helm. So I was buying this for about 505k or something like that, which still can take up a lot of your cash stack depending on how much you're starting with, but it can be well worth it in the end. I mean, overnight when I had think about 5 mil, I would have about half my Grand Exchange, or about 4 of the slots was all in Vesta and corrupt Stadius and stuff, and then my other 2 were the Tuareg's legs and Tuareg plate bodies. So that's how I set my GE up, but everyone kind of has their own special couple items that they like to use. I'm just sharing mine with you guys so that hopefully you guys can use them and make some money, but by all means don't just stick to my items. Please go ahead and experiment with some, because really with flipping you can only make money. Like, it's really hard not to make money if you know what you're doing. And I'm actually going to be linking my flipping guide on, or in the description on screen somewhere, because it shows you guys all the basics, and just so you guys actually know what you're doing out there. I actually might re-upload all my flipping guides onto this channel and start making some more, because I think I made 4, maybe 3, 4, I don't know, on the Defiant Soul channel, and I might start re-uploading them onto here just so you can have them all in one spot. So I'm going to be linking the basic flipping guide on here, but I think I've done, like I said, but 3 or 4 of them on the other channel, so you guys can check that out. Basically, the basic one is what it sounds like, just the basics of flipping, what it means, how to actually do it with some basic items, and then I go into more detail on friends chats that you can use to flip and items. I believe I did a third age one. If not, then I will definitely do that soon, because that was probably the most requested one that I had. Hopefully I got to it, but I have a bad feeling that I didn't. So if you guys still want to see that, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this helped you out, and let me know in the comments section below.